Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 epic Broadway villain songs.
'Cause you're my favorite subject, my sweet, submissive subject, my loyal, royal subject.
Let me show you how your mommy dear took out the competition.
Makes a little stir, customers appreciate a bon vivre, glad to do me friends a favour.
For this list, we'll be looking at the catchiest and most unforgettable tunes sung by the show's antagonist, and including both Broadway and off-Broadway productions. However, we're excluding songs that debuted on the silver screen first, as well as anti-heroes.
Turn your thoughts away from cold, unfeeling life, and listen to the music of the night.
Which Broadway baddie song brings out your dark side? Let us know in the comments. Number 20, World Burn, Mean Girls.
My name is Regina George, and I am a massive deal.
If you recall the popular 2004 movie, Regina discovers that not only was she not invited to Katie's party, but also that the Caltine bars Katie recommended caused her to gain weight. In anger, she turned to the burn book to exact her revenge, and that's where this song comes in.
I wanna watch the world burn. I got the gasoline. I wanna watch the world burn and everyone get me.
After adding her own name, she ensures that copies can be found everywhere in the high school, revealing all of its nasty content and throwing her former friends under the bus.
Because you took me down, but you didn't finish me off.
North Shore's Queen Bee may have been dethroned, but now she's digging in her Louboutin heels as she unleashes absolute chaos around the school. Number 19, Lonely Room, Oklahoma.
The floor creaks, the door squeaks. There's a field mouse a-nibbling on a broom.
Judd Fry is a lonely and troubled farmhand who develops an obsession with Lori. This lesser-known song follows poor Judd is Dead, where his rival Curly essentially provokes him. The song was actually removed from the 1955 movie. Perhaps they simply found it too dark.
And the girl that I want ain't afraid of my arms, and her own soft arms keep me warm.
While the lyrics portray a lonely outcast in search of love and happiness, the intensity with which it is sung is far more menacing and ominous.
It was all a pack of lies! I'm awake in a lonely room.
The song really highlights what a complex man Judd actually is. But as it comes to an end, we can't help but feel uneasy over what he might do next.
To call my own.
Number 18, King Herod Song, Jesus Christ Superstar.
Jesus, I am overjoyed to meet you face to face. You've been getting quite a name all around the place.
If you're familiar with the Bible, then we probably don't need to tell you that the book describes King Herod as a pretty bad guy. In this song, he tries to goad Jesus into proving his divinity, but Jesus chooses to ignore him.
Prove to me that you're divine. Change my water into wine. That's all you need to, and I'll know it's all true. Come on, King of the Jews.
It's a fun, upbeat, and flamboyant number that proves that villains always get the catchiest tunes. The song has quite a sarcastic tone, which only makes it more compelling. In the updated version during the 2012 UK tour, Herod is played as a television presenter who tries to coerce Jesus into entertaining his audience by performing miracles. When Jesus still refuses to comply, he angrily sends him away.
Get out, you king of the Jews!
Number 17. Why We Build the Wall, Hadestown.
Why do we build the wall? My children, why do we build the wall?
You might think that this song was inspired by events from the mid-2010s, but it was actually written about a decade earlier.
That song is one of those songs that kind of wrote itself. And I've been playing that song for years and years and never expected it to feel new again.
Still, there's something eerie about how current this number feels, even down to the call and response between Hades and his followers.
How does the wall keep us free? My children, how does the wall keep us free?
The god of the underworld uses his walled-off world for totalitarian control, as he brainwashes his followers in exchange for economic security. The song is a reflection of the enduring narrative of fear-mongering leaders throughout time. Perhaps that's why this is one of the most standout moments of the musical. It feels so relevant, which makes it all the more chilling.
That's why we build the wall.
Number 16. Master of the House, Les Miserables.
My band of soaks, my den of dissolutes, my dirty jokes, my always pissed as newts, my sons of whores spend their lives in my inn.
While the Thénardiers provide much of the comic relief in an otherwise pretty, well, miserable show, they're also its biggest scoundrels. We already know that they're wicked and cruel people based on their treatment of the young Cosette. However, in this song, we learn that they're conniving, deceptive crooks, too.
Monster of the ants, wicked at your eye, never once a passerby passing by. Servant to the poor, butler to the knight, comforter, philosopher, and lifelong night.
On first appearances, they might seem like friendly, welcoming innkeepers, but they use every trick in the book to rob their patrons blind. There's no denying that this song is incredibly entertaining, though.
Cunning little brain, regular Voltaire, thinks she's quite a lover, but what a cruel trick of nature.
You'd probably leave the inn still humming along, all the while completely oblivious to the fact that you've just been hoodwinked.
Everybody raise your glass.
Raise out the monster's out!
Number 15, And Eve Was Weak, Carrie.
Bow your head and pray, woman. And God made Eve from the rib of Adam. And Eve was weak and loosed the raven on the world.
Mama, it wasn't
and the
my
raven
fault.
was called sin.
Carrie's mom is a fanatical fundamentalist who believes that menstruation is a symbol of sin.
And God made Eve from the rib of Adam. And Eve was weak and loosed the raven on the world. And the raven was called sin. Said.
So, when Carrie tries to confide in her about the harrowing experience of getting her first period at school, her mother flies into a frenzy. Margaret believes that women menstruate because of Eve's original sin and tries to get her daughter to internalize that guilt.
I can see you inside.
Don't believe with your eyes.
Full of sin, full of pride.
Those are lies, Mama, lies.
That's how Lucifer fell.
Mama, how could I know?
And you're headed for hell.
Mama,
I won't let you go.
Throughout the song, she berates her and treats her terribly. She also fears that Carrie will soon develop this power, leading to a foreshadowing of the show's end. When Carrie tries to fight back, Margaret locks her in the cellar to pray for repentance.
And the glory forever and ever and ever. Amen.
Number 14, Blood in the Water, Legally Blonde.
Now, when you choose a law career, the moment you embark, there is that joke you're bound to hear: a lawyer is a shark. Ignore that, it's simplistic and it's dumb.
This song introduces us to the cold and ruthless Professor Callahan. He certainly makes quite an entrance, captivating the attention of the class and, of course, the audience. We've all had that one teacher who is both feared and hated by the students. And at Harvard Law School, it's Callahan.
Look for the blood in the water. Read your Thomas Hobbes. Only spineless snobs will quarrel with the morally dubious jobs.
He's merciless, devoid of any compassion, and downright offensive. We're also introduced to Elle's rival Vivian, who gets Elle kicked out of class, but we're willing to forgive her. The full extent of Callahan's villainy isn't even exposed until much later. It only makes it more satisfying when Elle, helped by Vivian, takes him down. Number 13, The Bottom Line, Newsies.
Trim a bit there, just a modest adjustment can fatten the bottom line.
There are villains you can't help but love, but paper publisher Joseph Pulitzer is one we love to loathe. When he decides to charge the poor children selling his papers more money per 100, forcing the kids to sell more to make a profit, we're treated to a shockingly upbeat song about his evil eureka moment.
Give me a week and I'll train them to be like an army that's marching to war.
It's hard to root for a villain this cold and cruel, but with the bouncy music and charming vocals, we can't help but hum along.
Just a few common sense, gents, that's the bottom line.
Number 12, Candy Store, Heather's the Musical.
Are we gonna have a problem? You got a bone to pick? You've come so far, why now are you pulling on my dick? I normally slap your face off, and everyone here could watch.
In this musical retelling of an 80s cult classic film, many would consider J.D. the main antagonist, but this treacherous trio can't be denied their spotlight. After all, they're right there in the title.
I like looking hot, buying stuff they cannot. I like drinking hard, maxing dad's credit card.
This is the scene where the Heathers show Veronica their malicious lifestyle, with a realistic portrayal of high school dialogue and perfectly timed choreography. It's also a great way to show the audience exactly why we should root against them.
You can fly with the eagles, or if you prefer, keep on testing me and end up like her.
These queen bees run Westerberg, and their strong vocals and harmonies have us wanting to join the hive.
It's my candy store, it's my candy, it's my candy store, it's my candy store.
Number 11, The Neva Flows, Anastasia.
Be very careful of these rumors that prevail. Be very careful what you say.
Gleb Vaganov, a Bolshevik general, replaces Rasputin as the villain in this musical. He catches wind of Dmitri and Vlad's plan to pass off Anya as Grand Duchess Anastasia, so decides to interrogate her himself.
The world stopped breathing, and I was no longer a boy.
He recognizes her Romanov eyes almost instantly and warns her of the consequences should her true identity ever be discovered. He also recalls his father's involvement in the Romanovs' fateful night and ponders what he might have done had he been in his father's position.
The Neva flows, a new wind blows, and soon it will be spring.
Gleb realizes that he's developed feelings for the princess and lets her off with this song. However, his heart becomes hardened once again soon after.
A revolution is a simple thing.
Number 10, The Pitiful Children, Be More Chill.
You're always quite the loser, Jeremy. Then I invaded, and you upgraded.
Until now, the Squip has slyly manipulated Jeremy under a veiled promise to help him climb up the social ladder. But when Jeremy blames the Squip for his misfortunes, the computer deflects the blame onto human error instead.
A script can fix your current situation. Things improve without a doubt. It'll be you who helped her out. Let's save the pitiful children.
We then discover its real plan, global domination, which is quite a leap from just helping a kid become a bit cooler. The squip twists Jeremy's feelings and influences him into planting squips in his classmates too.
Let's save the pitiful children. Let's save the pitiful children.
By the end of the song, the squip is describing what it'll be like to control the entire student body. Number 9. Alive, Jekyll and Hyde.
What is this feeling of power and drive I've never known? I feel alive. Where does this feeling of power derive, making me know why I'm alive?
After our first introduction to the self-named Mr. Edward Hyde, the battle between good and evil really begins. Jekyll's experiment sought to discover what makes people evil. However, Hyde sings about why being so bad feels so good.
Filled with evil but truly alive. It's a truth that cannot be denied. It's a feeling of being Edward Hyde.
He revels in cruelty and celebrates the rush he gets from committing evil deeds. We follow him on his first outing into the world, where he torments anyone in his path, including Lucy. Alive is also reprised later during his altercation with the bishop. Following the first transformation, Jekyll becomes addicted to the rush of adrenaline he feels after unleashing his evil alter ego.
There's no feeling like being Edward Hyde.
Number 8. The Legend of Miss Baltimore Crabs, Hairspray.
Oh my god, how times have changed. These girls must be blind or completely deranged.
Velma Von Tussle is no one to, well, tussle with. When Tracy and her big hair and personality come to audition for the Corny Collins show, the producer, Von Tussle, is appalled. In this number, her pageant name becomes a well-earned double entendre with her stories of sleeping her way to the top and not being afraid to play dirty in every sense of the word.
Those poor runner-ups may still hold some grudges. They padded their cups, but I screwed the judges.
This song begins the battle for inclusion that drives the musical's plot, and it's peppered with witty lyrics and dazzling choreography. Much like her name, this woman proves very, very hard to get rid of.
You're just down with a case of Miss Baltimore Crabs.
Number 7. Meant to Be Yours, Heathers the Musical.
Chucked me out like I was trash. For that you should be dead. But then it hit me like a flash. What if high school went away instead?
Move aside, Heathers, because the real villain of this musical is Jason Dean. He's one complicated individual, and nothing showcases that more than this chaotic number. Heathers writers Lawrence O'Keefe and Kevin Murphy shared that the song is so all over the place as it mirrors JD's psyche at this moment.
I was meant to be yours. We were meant to be one. I can't make it alone.
Despite everything he's done, JD has always kept his cool. Until now. He believes that his actions will make the world a better place, but Veronica wants no part of it. She resorts to desperate measures to free herself of JD, but it only fuels him further to carry out his scheme.
Still I will remember.
Number 6. Little Girls, Annie.
Little girls, everywhere I turn, I can see them.
Though this story has had many adaptations over the years, one thing remains the same. Miss Hannigan is every kid's worst nightmare.
If I wring little necks, surely I would get an
When the titular orphan is invited to visit a mansion for the holiday season as a form of charity, it ignites a ball of anger inside the faulty caretaker, leading to a particularly twisted, yet somewhat comedic song that washes away any notion that she may simply be trying her best. We can't help but wonder if she belongs in the nut house after all.
Till the prohibition of
Number 5. Pretty Women, Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
And what may I do for you, sir?
Oh, yes.
A stylish trimming of the hair.
You could cut the tension in this duet with a knife, or rather, a razor.
But first, sir, I think a shave.
The closest I ever came.
When the lustful Judge Turpin appears in Sweeney Todd's barbershop, Todd tries to lure him into a sense of security in order to murder him. While the sinister stylist sends shivers up our spines, Turpin's cadence in this deceptively upbeat tune outright creeps us out.
Pretty women blowing out their candles or combing out their hair.
Sweeney's melancholy words complement Turpin's shameless confessions of preying on young women, and we actually can't help but feel sorry for Sweeney. That's something we thought we'd never say of the homicidal hair clipper.
pretty women. Yes, pretty women. All the pretty women.
I've seen Joanna and she said she'd leave with me tonight.
Number 4. Last Midnight, Into the Woods.
It's the last midnight. It's the last wish.
Here's a life lesson. When you point a finger, 3 point back at you. This grim tale sweeps over interweaving scenes with plenty of memorable numbers, including a particularly creepy song sung by the big bad wolf himself. However, it's this tune that's sure to haunt your nightmares. The witch calls out the play's heroes, insisting they are anything but.
You're not good, you're not bad, you're just nice. I'm not good, I'm not nice, I'm just right. I'm the witch, you're the world.
They do bad deeds and claim piety, unwilling to see the harm they cause. The creeping instrumental attests to the gravity of the situation, and at the end, the witch does what many of us often wish we could do in an argument, and makes an epic exit. Number 3. You'll Be Back, Hamilton.
You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay.
This is King George III's first number in this critically acclaimed show, and what an entrance he makes. He tells the colonists that distance doesn't mean independence, threatening violence if they do not return to his rule. However comedic, his words light the match of the revolution, making this piece essential to the plot.
You'll be back, soon you'll see. You remember you belong to me.
Although many kings have conquered this tune, Jonathan Groff wears the original Broadway crown, and for good reason. His charisma and over-the-top accent will have you under his rule in the cast recording, no matter how tyrannical it may be. Number 2. Dentist, Little Shop of Horrors.
When I was younger, just a bad little kid, my mama noticed funny things I did.
This number might make you want to reschedule that next teeth cleaning appointment. Orin Scrivello, Audrey's abusive boyfriend and Seymour's romantic rival, sings this song about the love he has for his chosen profession. But while some people go into the dental business looking to fix people's teeth, it's clear that the sadistic Scrivello prefers ripping them right out.
You'll be a dentist. You have a talent for causing things pain.
Still, rampant cruelty has never sounded this catchy, with a hip-shaken rhythm and some angelic harmonies from a chorus of backup singers. Just don't think too hard about the lyrics, and you'll be saying "ah" right along with Scrivello's victims. Patience.
Say ah! Now spit!
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. A Little Priest, Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. We think we'll pass on one of Mrs. Lovett's pies.
I mean, with the price of meat, what it is, when you get it, if you get it. Good, you got it. Take the rest of it. Business never better, using only pussycats and toast.
Hello, Little Girl, Into the Woods. This is why you shouldn't talk to strangers, or wolves.
Hello, little girl, what's your rush? You're missing all the flowers. The sun won't set for hours. Take your time.
Mother said straight ahead, not to delay or be misled.
But slow, little girl, hark and hush.
The World According to Chris, Carrie. Said world doesn't sound too appealing.
You don't listen, then you're jerks. The world according to Chris is better to punch than get punched. Better to burn than get burned. Learn that and you're gonna go far.
The Sewers, Dog Eats Dog, Les Miserables. Thénardier claims the spoils of war. If that isn't villainous, we don't know what is.
Well, someone's got to clean our map, my friends. Bodies on the line, why no, they're upside down. Someone's got to collect their odds and ends as the service to the town.
Freeze Your Brain, Heathers the Musical. JD literally tries to block out his pain with a Slurpee.
Freeze your brain, swim in the ice, get lost in the pain. Shut your eyes tight till you vanish from sight. Let nothing remain. Freeze your brain.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Cell Block Tango, Chicago.
Pop, six, squish. Cicero. Lipschitz.
This musical is based on a straight play and uses its toe-tapping tunes to amp up its satire of the media's glorification of criminals. Case in point, Cell Block Tango.
It wasn't until later, when I was washing the blood off my hands, I even knew they were dead. They had it coming. 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 They had it all along.
These vile vixens of the cell block recount with sensual choreography and passionate lyrics how each have mercilessly killed men who abused, cheated, or simply jilted them. Each villainess in the cell has her own side of the story, and a reason to declare not guilty. This is the perfect shower tune to belt out when Mr. Right turns out to be oh so wrong. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.